Welcome guys, in this 100 days in Minecraft video, I will be surviving as Tony Stark. First of all, I need to get my Iron Man suit. Invasion of the overworld is imminent, so that means I need to get ready as soon as possible. And of course, the very first thing in Minecraft you gotta do is get some wood. Seeing as I got a lot of wood, I did decide to get myself a full wooden set. That means an axe, pickaxe, and also a sword. Now, Tony Stark cannot survive on an empty stomach, so I did decide to hunt some animals. First animal in my sights were cows, so unfortunately for them, I was gonna wear their skin. The leather armor ain't as good as an Iron Man suit, but I was gonna upgrade to an Iron Man suit sooner enough. Very quickly, I did go into the mine also to get some stone, iron, coal, and just the basic necessities. Going out of the mine, it was still daytime fortunately for me, and I did also stumble upon another pack of cows, and I will use the cow hide and also the cow meat to help me survive the 100 days. The Iron Man suit is going to be really strong, but right now all I can get is leather armor. Not too far away, I also encountered a pack of sheep. There were exactly 3 sheep in the vicinity, and I did kill them. I was gonna use my shears, but unfortunately, I did not have any shears yet, and that allowed me to actually get a bed going for my first night. Now, I know Tony Stark lives in a mansion, but this Tony Stark on day 1 is living in a cave, unfortunately. So I did get myself a cave going, got some doors, cobblestone, cobbled myself up, and this was good enough for the time being. Night came along quickly, and it was time to hit the sack. The next day, I did decide to go into the mine again to get even more resources, seeing as I did not get enough iron the first time. Also, luckily for me, I did hear a creeper creeping up behind me, and he did not blow me up, although I was very close to ending the video literally on day 2, which is not a first, by the way. I do constantly die in the first days, but this time I survived. When I was running back home, I did encounter a little zombie horde. Now, we aren't in a zombie apocalypse, they only spawned in because it is nighttime, but they did get me off guard, and I was not prepared for it. Fortunately for me, I was armed with a stone sword, which proved useful, although not as much as the Iron Man suit would be in the coming days. Yes, even Tony Stark has to start from somewhere, from zero to hero, you could say. From a stone sword to a bazooka-wielding RPG monster flying all over the map. Finally getting back home, my sweet home in a cave. No, I am not Batman, I am Iron Man, but that's besides the point. I got to smelting all the gear that I got, and now it was finally time to get to crafting my first Iron Man suit. Just like in the movies, first suit is gonna be made from literal garbage. So as I got 3 of my furnaces running, I did decide to hit the sack as usual and continue on in the next day. So far, my adventure was looking pretty good considering I did not die in the initial days. From now on, it's only gonna get easier, well, oh, maybe harder even if you consider the bosses which are about to appear. The next morning, as usual, I did decide to use all the smelted materials that I got to get myself some upgrades. I did upgrade my pickaxe and also my sword. This will allow me to progress even more firmly in the world, especially seeing as creepers tend to creep up behind you and blow you up. As any survivor, I did think that I would need quite a bit of wood going into the future, and I don't want to actually be seen beating down trees every other day, so I thought that this would be a pretty good time to fill up on all sorts of wood. And then I also noticed some cows, which I did of course slaughter for the purpose of food, and also some hide, because hide is always useful for creating armor and just basic necessities. I did also encounter some pigs which had really white eyes, which was super weird. I thought that they would actually be possessed by some demon, and who knows, they just might be. So that's why I need the Iron Man suit to battle the evil. Also, it didn't take long for me to go back into the mine to get some more materials. After the wood and the food, I also need quite a bit of materials, and I did find diamonds right away. So finding diamonds was actually a really cool thing. I found them on the lava level, and this is also a very modded world, and that means they also spawn all other sorts of materials that I don't even know the names of. And you can also craft loot with them, which is super awesome, and perhaps I can even use them in my Iron Man suit. I'm pretty sure I will need some cool materials to craft the iron core reactor, and the reactor will basically allow me to power up the Iron Man suit. Running back home during the nighttime, of course, a zombie horde had to spawn in, and they did see me, so I did have to fight them off a little bit, and I also got to test out my iron sword. And as expected, the iron sword dealt swift damage that really helped me out during this night. I really can't wait to get the Iron Man suit, because then these hordes will pose no threat at all to me. I will be out and about battling way scarier creatures than just a horde of zombies. But for now, I guess Tony Stark is on the down low, and I need to get my first Iron Man suit before I can actually battle world bosses. Coming back into my base, I was really happy to be back in my little bat cave, although I am only joking when I call that bat cave, because it is Iron Man cave. Unfortunately, I know that Tony Stark lives in a very high-class hotel, and he's just a very rich individual overall, but in Minecraft, I need to get the plunders myself first, and that means I need to get there myself. So this Tony Stark is stuck in a bat cave for now. I placed my materials that I collected in the mine to smelt, and I was ready to hit the sack and see what was waiting for me in the next day. In the next morning, I did decide to craft myself an iron set, so I guess I kind of skipped the leather set, and the iron set would protect me nicely thus far, and I also could not wait to use my diamonds, but I was too scared to use them in case I needed them for my future Iron Man core, like the part of the suit that is required for the Iron Man suit to actually function and work, the whole heart of it, the middle part that lights up. Either way, I was busy making myself just a regular iron set, and yeah, this is the Iron Man. I guess that's it. The video is done. Iron Man ready with a diamond sword. That's even an extra. I should have kept my iron sword to be like a real Iron Man, but no guys, jokes aside, I am finally ready to go forth and search for my first ever bosses. The bosses will drop me really good loot where I can start getting my Iron Man suit from. The next day, sun was out shining and everything was going perfectly. I decided to get myself some food, and how else will Iron Man eat and sustain himself? He needs a lot of protein, he needs a lot of healthy foods, and for that you need to fish. I know that I have plenty of food, but you can never not have enough food, and by fishing, I got 2 fishes in the end, and I did cook them up and eat them. It was the tastiest meal ever, and I'm pretty sure that this goes in good faith with Mother Nature, because I don't eat just meat, I eat also fish. Look at them cows. The cows are so happy that I did not eat them. Running back home, I did also encounter another zombie horde, but this time I was pretty much armed with good loot, good armor, and I could finally battle them. And I did all of that because there was a secret, well, a randomly generated chest. And the good thing about these chests is that they actually have a loot table to spawn Iron Man loot. And luckily for me, this exact chest did spawn the Iron Man loot that I needed. It spawned in legs, and that is the one piece that I have now, and it's super amazing. I still cannot do anything as Iron Man should be able to do, like fly and shoot missiles and stuff, but this is a really good start to getting the Iron Man suit up and running. Finally getting back into my little bat cave, of course pun intended, it's the Iron Man cave. I was ready to hit the sack, and now with my newly found Iron Man leggings. The next day, again, I spent mining back in the mines, and I did also find some diamonds, which was a super good thing. I now had 6 in total diamonds so far, and also a lot of redstone and other blocks, which I need to smelt to find out what they can actually do and what I can craft with them. But all of this is good because the Iron Man suit, again, requires the Iron Man core, the heart of the Iron Man, and that requires quite a bit of different resources. Finally getting back to my home, it was again nighttime. I know that I kind of am a night creature returning back to my bat cave as usual, but soon I'm gonna be in a skyscraper as Iron Man should be, and also there's a ship. I'm gonna make a little spoil, guys. There will be a ship coming near me very soon that I will finally be able to get on and continue on with my Iron Man mission. I did also use the diamonds to get myself a diamond chest piece, which will give me even more protection with even some diamonds left over for the Iron Man core. I just used up the surplus of the diamonds that I had, and now I was finally ready to battle even more. Walking around during the nighttime, ready to test out my new loot, I did notice some light in the distance. Coming closer, there was actually a chest surrounded with lava and also some mobs spawned in. This time it wasn't zombies, it was actually skeletons. So I guess this is just a different loot table that spawned in. Maybe it would have something good is what I was hoping for, and to my surprise, yes it did. The randomly generated chests are modded and they do have a custom loot table which actually spawned in the Iron Man helmet. That was already 2 pieces into being an Iron Man, but this also excludes many other Iron Man suits that I was also going to have in my adventure, and that is the Nanite suit. The Nanite suit is actually different from the regular Iron Man suit. The regular Iron Man suit, you can walk out from it and it's like a standalone NPC. The Nanite suit is actually just a one-piece reactor that's on you, and with just the press of a button, it literally encapsulates you in the Iron Man suit. It's just a new gen Iron Man suit and it's still super sick and awesome, and I will be having all of them. You're watching history being made, and that is because I finally did decide to leave the Batcave. The Batcave grew tiresome. I was not a Batman, I was Iron Man, so I need a very rich, very tall skyscraper as my base. And this is actually the little island that I did decide to build it on. This was a perfect place with a relatively flat land that I would make even flatter and get my base on here. It was already nighttime, but I was still stuck building my initial base. I flatlined the land a little bit, as I said, and also got my initial plans for the base. This is the way the skyscraper would be kind of built and built up upon. It's a really good looking base in the end, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, but obviously you're gonna have to wait and see throughout all of the days how the base upgrades over time, which is gonna be super amazing, and it's super tech savvy also. We were gonna have a lot of turrets, a lot of sci-fi stuff, and a lot of Iron Man suits in my collection. Yet again, I did decide to go mining. That's because I thought that actually having so little diamond pieces would degrade my progress and would not make me progress as fast as humanly possible. So I did decide that the fastest way to progress and beat the bosses and take on the world was to get myself a base, secure it, build the base of operations, have super cool loot there, and also upgrade my loot. And I did also find diamonds while I was in the cave again, and this could allow me to build some more pieces of diamond armor for me to protect myself with before I get the full Iron Man set. Going deeper into the mine, I did stumble upon a card and a chest filled with turret bases. They would actually allow me to build defenses all around my base, although I did only pick up 2 so far. I would get a lot more in the near future, and they will work against defeating enemy kind of mobs that go around my base. It could be zombies, skeletons, creepers, whatever during the nighttime, and also bad guys that try to know where I live, try to get me while I sleep or something of that sort. Finally getting back to my little bat cave, I did put the materials that I collected from all of the mining that I did into smelting, and yes, this is still my base of operations where I smelt stuff and just do the regular things. I did also throw out all the unnecessary things that I picked up into the chest, and now it was time to get all of it smelted and get myself ready for the continuation of building the base. My new base was gonna be really sick, and this is just now a hangout point where I just gear up, sort my loot out, and also smelt some things. After sorting out my inventory, I did decide that it was maybe time for me to head to bigger places with bigger mobs and bigger problems. So that means maybe it was about time for me to hunt the bosses myself and not wait for them to come and find me first. But for that, I really needed to finish up collecting the Iron Man suit that I was making pretty good progress on already. Traveling again during the nighttime did have its setbacks, and that one of them was actually I did encounter another big zombie horde. This zombie horde would pose a threat if I was maybe on day 1 or 2 or even 3 while I still did not have any major loot, but now I was pretty much kitted out in Iron Man's pieces, iron pieces, and also diamond pieces, and that's excluding the literal diamond sword that I also had. So this battle was actually just a piece of cake for me. I was actually hunting for bigger prey than just a random horde of zombies. A zombie mutant, now that would be interesting, but I was yet to find one. A creeper also blew up, and that was kind of a friendly fire moment for the enemy zombies and creeper team. I know that them guys aren't on the same team, but that was still pretty funny, and I did decide to back off when I did notice that there was an endless amount of them. They just kept on coming. I'm pretty sure that is because it's the night time, so I better get off, back to my base, and sleep the night through. Tony Stark, being the rich man that he is, I did decide to fish myself for dinner. My hunger was getting pretty low, and I did run out of cow meat, pig meat, and also chicken meat. That would only leave me with fish, which I needed to fish for myself. Also, scavenging meat and like maybe cow spawns would be pretty dangerous in the nighttime, so fishing was most likely the safest activity I could do to get myself some food during this harsh night. Finally getting back to my bed in my little Iron Man cave, I was ready to hit the sack, knowing full well that my base was nearly finished. And I'm not talking about the cave, I'm talking about the Iron Man headquarter base. It was about to be finished. Now finally working on my base, I did decide to get some glass smelting, and that is because I need to fill up the windows. The house will have 1 to 2 stories initially, and I will add on it progressively. That means I will need to get a enchanting floor, Iron Man suit floor, and also my own laboratory. I know that so far I've been a kind of a caveman Tony Stark, but the badass stuff is yet to happen, where I will get my suits and finally fight the world bosses. I will also be required to upgrade my suits, and that is why I need the Tony Stark laboratory. The lab will play an important role in upgrading my suits in every way possible, from enhancing its speed, power, the look of it, and also the defensive abilities. I kept on working on my base so far, and while waiting for the glass to finish smelting, well, the rest of it at least, I did decide to also get a wooden floor in my base, which looks super amazing. I also got a wooden door and also slabs, and that means the staircase part to actually make the entrance kind of official and pretty cool, pretty better. And that's all thanks to me just continuously building bases and upgrading them with the 100 Days series. Finally, this is the initial stage, the kind of level 1 of my base. I know that it looks absolutely amazing. The block stone that I chose is working absolutely amazing. I also got an open window design which looks super sick, and this also did make me question how tall I would want to make the base, and I did also place the cobblestone on top of the base. For now, this was only for a few days while I was still working out on how many floors I wanted to upgrade to, because this was not enough space by any means. But I was not gonna leave my base without a roof or kind of an ugly blocky roof. No way, my base would look sick either way, no matter at what stage it was. Traveling the world at night again, I was really brave for doing so, but I was also really geared, and I was going back to my base again after another mining session. and I did notice that there was a horde of mobs literally over a hilltop that attacked me spontaneously. I was taken by surprise, but I did decide to actually fight them off, fend them off, you could say, and there were just so many of them. There were even little zombies spawning in. Luckily for me, there was a pond of water right in front of me, and the zombies got stuck in the water as they can't move that quickly while they are in the water. They can't really swim, so they just jump sporadically, and that just does not help them at all. Either way, it was a very, very easy kind of XP farming method that I got. So if you ever want to get some easy XP, just get a pond of water, get a lot of zombies in the wild during the nighttime, and get to hatching them. Yes, I know I travel quite a lot at night, but again, going back to my base, I did decide to get myself some food as my hunger was again getting pretty low. I decided to fish a little bit before I didn't notice that the hook got stuck on a literal zombie that appeared from nowhere. It was the craziest thing ever. I've never encountered any bug like this, so I did not know what the hell was going on, but turns out the kind of hook got stuck in the air somehow, and a zombie was coming also on top of it. It was just a weird experience at nighttime, so you know what? I noted down, don't fish during nighttime, because it never works out. I got rid of the zombie, got my boat, found a new place to get my fishing done, and I did actually manage to catch some fish and fill up my tummy with some yummy fish. Although I'm not a vegan, I didn't eat cow meat, pig meat in a very long time, so might as well get it the next time that I see a spawn of them. Going back to my mud hut, or as I should call it, a bat cave, or even an Iron Man cave, I was finally on the verge of moving out. Finally, it's like a teenager that's moving out from his parents. The time has come. But before that, I did want to get myself a diamond axe that I could use to get myself a lot of wood very quickly, and that's because I was still getting along with my iron axe. The iron axe is not as good as the diamond axe, so the diamond axe was definitely an upgrade, and I did not also get any boots, and I did decide to get an axe instead of diamond boots because I will find an Iron Man suit in the near future. I believe it would just be a waste of materials to get myself some diamond pieces when I will be in full Iron Man suit. Going into the mine again, I was now on lava level yet again, and I did also find even more diamonds, and I will use these diamonds to upgrade my final loot pieces, which is super fantastic. It's really good progress, and yeah, I'm not even trying to look for diamonds. I'm in general getting everything that I can, because the armor upgrades for Iron Man will require a lot of materials, and they will require a lot of tiers to unlock, and you can only unlock them tiers by upgrading and having enough resources to work in the laboratory. And you might be asking, why have I still not yet upgraded anything or used materials? That is because I need the laboratory, the Iron Man's laboratory, but I can also only use it when I already have the Iron Man suit. So my number one priority right now is to actually get the full Iron Man set, which I'm doing pretty good progress on. Traveling at night, yet again I saw another beam of light going through the leaves in the forest, and upon coming closer I was met with a zombie horde that tried to eat my brains as usual. Luckily for me, I was pretty geared, got rid of them quite quickly, and decided to loot the chest. Unfortunately for me also, the chest only had like a bow and also some food, which was not good at all. So the randomly generated chest and the loot table that I customized did not actually have a 100% drop chance. No, not at all. It's actually pretty rare to get some good loot from the chests. But this time I did get a bow, and I guess it's an okay. I was actually certain that was a Marvel weapon as well from one of the heroes from the Marvel movies. I'm Iron Man, but of course I will keep the bow because I think it's still pretty darn cool that I got it. Coming back to my little hut, I was finally ready to craft myself some boots. I know that I said that I was waiting on some Iron Man boots, but that was before I had a big surplus of the diamonds that I have in my inventory now. So that means I can craft some boots and also keep some diamonds for the reactor. That means I get the best of both worlds. Now, I don't know when I will get the boots, well, the Iron Man boot upgrade, but I did find a bow, which is super sick. I was certain that it was a cool cool bow and it did not take regular arrows, and I was pretty much correct in that one. It was actually a Marvel bow and it does not shoot regular arrows. You need special kind of arrows for it, and most importantly, you also need a literal kind of backpack for the arrows to be on your back. So either way, it was a very cool item that I found, and Iron Man can never say no to weapons, you could say, especially in the condition that I'm in, where I'm literally still a normal human being that can't even fly. You can actually fly, and I will be flying very soon. A lot, by the way. Just need to get the last few pieces. And it was about time for me to hit the sack and end this day finally. It was about to be a brand new day, and I was about to make a lot of progress. So it was about time for me to head into the Nether, and why you might be asking, that is because I need the power of the hot furnaces. I need to get a lot of furnaces going in my base, and I also need to get a portal. I did live it up a little bit. I placed a lot of chests, bed, all sorts of good materials for me, and also a big furnace. But again, I need to go to the Nether to get the lightning block and just set it on fire. I will also be able to craft Iron Man loot with it a lot better, and also get my laboratory going on the second or the bottom floor. I have not chosen yet. I spent quite a lot of time searching for obsidian underground. Now, I know that I could have probably used the time better by creating the obsidian myself in the overworld, well, on the surface, but I did not want to craft buckets because I would not need buckets in the near future, and also how many buckets do you need really to get a lot of obsidian? So I did spend a lot of time going deep into the caves looking for an obsidian bed, and then I started hacking at it, which took again quite a bit of time, but I did manage to get all the obsidian that I needed to get my portal going. Going back to the base, I was already planning on where to place the portal. The portal would actually go underground the base, and that means I will actually build levels in my base. As I said, I'm gonna have levels below and upwards also, and I also completely forgot that I needed to get all of my loot from my Batcave into this new house because I was officially moving in. Finally, I was ready to make the flint and steel and light up the hard-ridden portal. Finally, it was about time for me to jump into the Nether and do what I do best, and that is hunt exotic animals, mammals, mobs, you name it. If they drop good loot, I'm out there getting their pieces of resources any way possible. I do know that in the Nether, there should be a big Nether gas that I could find and get rid of, but I'm pretty sure I would be too weak if I was to find him right now, so I will actually find him later in the video, but not in this current form. I am far too weak to battle that guy, and my Iron Man suit is not even full. I did decide to craft myself a shovel to get also some sand soul, or soul sand it's called. Luckily for me, I did also find some glowstone. The glowstone can be used to light up my base that I will actually get in the future, and that is really wonderful because this was not my intention of going into the Nether solely for glowstone, but getting it also when coming back to the overworld will be a very good upgrade for my base. So I did not even think of it, but it's such a good thing that I did find glowstone. I am just gonna collect most of it that I can because my base is pretty big and I need a few stacks at least. Oblivious to my surroundings, I was still collecting nether blocks, especially for my furnace that I could light on fire. I actually collected a quite significant chunk of them in case I needed more than I had to, but so far I only needed one block. And also, I was completely oblivious to the point where there was a big ghast hunting me. It was actually a monster ghast, and I was gonna shoot it with my bow until I did notice that I didn't have any arrows for it, so I was again unprepared to battle this very big and huge monster. Unfortunately, I had to run back to my portal and forget that this ever happened. But this was not the end of our meeting. I was gonna meet him again in the near future and I was gonna obliterate him, but that would only happen when I would get my Iron Man suit. So this was not the end. I did not run away. No, I did not. When I saw him, he quickly started shooting at me, and I took a little bit of damage, and then I kind of bamboozled my way through back to the portal and saved myself. Finally getting back to my house, I was able to get the glowstone on my base. I got the glowstone blocks, crafted them, placed them all around my base to light up the area to kind of not attract a lot of mobs during nighttime and night raids. And I also did get a fireplace going. The furnace was now lit and it was absolutely amazing. I was also very careful not to get my actual wooden house burnt down, so I did have to take precautions so the fire would not spread, and luckily for me it didn't spread. And yes, my base was looking absolutely cozy and beautiful. I did feel hungry again during the night time, and as you guys know, I cannot sleep on an empty stomach, and yet again I was out here stuck fishing for fish. And I did try to find some cows to kind of sort out my diet, not to fish only, and I couldn't. There were no cows and I didn't want to attract any zombies. Plus I was surrounded by water, so fishing was actually perfect for me. I got the fish to cook and I did eat it to regen my hunger a little bit. The fish went in nicely, but there is one slight problem. I used up too much coal. I used 2 separate coal pieces for these 2 fishes, and I only understood that when I was writing the script. And don't repeat how I played the game. I'm Iron Man, I can do kind of that, like such mistakes, but you guys, if you want to keep your coal supply at a normal level, then don't do what I do. Luckily for us guys, it was about time that I hit the sack and proceed to the next day. I did not know what was gonna await me the next day, but let me tell you that finally stuff was about to begin. Walking around in a new biome during the daytime, this time I did encounter another randomly generated chest, but to my surprise no zombies spawned around it or skeletons, and that is actually because I was finally looting during the daytime. I did also pick up a little backpack to hold the arrows for my bow, and that means the bow that I have now is actually usable. All that was left was for me to get the arrows, put them in the little bag that I just received, and now I could finally use the bow. But that would become, of course, obsolete when I would get my Iron Man suit. When I did get back to my little bat cave to finally get all of the good pieces with me and then transfer them over to my new base, I did notice that I had a lot of junk I had to leave behind, primarily because I did not have enough space. If I had a backpack of some sort, I would be able to carry it in one go, but I did decide to leave all the garbage behind. And I had so much garbage because it was actually my very first base from day one. This was an absolute memory, and I will cherish it till the end of times. The Iron Man come up, I will never forget it. Sitting in a cave, and now I'm gonna go back into my house and proceed with crafting the full Iron Man suit. Returning back to the base, I was surrounded by zombies at one point yet again, and this time they were a lot more aggressive. What was unfortunate was there was no water stream, water pond, or even a quicksand for me to kind of run around them and deal with them quite swiftly and quickly. No, they were running at full speed and there was a whole horde of them that I had to battle through. It was just an unfortunate moment, and yes, again I was proven not to travel during the nighttime. I don't know when I will learn, but I will learn from this video onwards that you cannot travel as much as I do in the night. You gotta sleep the night, and I couldn't sleep the night all the time because I didn't have all the beds with me. And also, sleeping anywhere in Hardcore World is pretty difficult. You really need a safe base with torches, lightning, fencing, and all of that good stuff to sleep a full night. Hardcore is hardcore after all. Even though I'm Iron Man, I still can't beat it that easily. Finally returning back to my base, this time no longer the Bat Cave or the Iron Man Cave. No. This was the Iron Man headquarters, and this was only a startup. This was only the beginning. This is the initial, the tier 1 base. Now I gotta equip it with turrets, loot, all the good stuff. I already have a cellar with a portal. Now I will go upwards and get myself an enchanting table and also a laboratory going. To my surprise, the next day was actually quite peaceful, and I used the peaceful time to get myself a literal fence all around the base. I did make it pretty so it would have like a very cool appeal, because I know that you guys do like when I do make cool builds. And also you might notice that there is no quite visible door. I do have 2 fences working as a door, but they are quite invisible, and I also will not need them in the near future when I will be able to fly as Iron Man, and that is primarily for defense sake, in case I do get attacked by a big horde of zombies or other enemy mobs. running around the world. Yet again, I did encounter another randomly generated chest, and I also hunt them during the nighttime because they are so clearly visible, because they light up from any distance and you just know right away that there is a chest with some good loot. So that's why I mostly hunt during the nighttime, but although it does have some setbacks, and that is the big zombie horde. It is really unfortunate that I have to battle the zombie hordes that I do from the randomly generated chest, and also not exclusively zombie hordes, but just like enemy mobs that tend to spawn in. But it's so much more worth it because the chests, I could miss a few, but during the nighttime, especially with all in the darkness, it's always visible. And I'm leading to the biggest point. The chest finally had the Iron Man chest piece. That was an amazing find, and it explains why there were so many zombies. Although they didn't pose such of a huge of a threat, I did manage to get the Iron Man chest piece and run away. I was one more piece closer to becoming Iron Man. I only also needed one more piece, the boots, to become the full Iron Man with flying abilities and also turret firing abilities. It was such a cool experience. I was peacefully sitting at home when I did notice that I was getting attacked by a horde of zombies. Luckily for me, my turrets did take care of them a little bit, and I also did not know where they were coming from. It was such an irregular experience, but I did get ready. I built myself a fence, I got myself all of the defenses, and these zombies, it's almost like they know that I practically got my suit together, and that's what pretty much all the good minds get, the genius minds, you could say. I was practically already Iron Man, and they know they had to get me. They knew that they had to cancel me, shut me down, but nope. I was ready for it. I got my defenses up and running, I got my turrets, and I was just waiting for my turrets to do the dirty job by getting rid of all the zombies that spawned in and try to attack me. This was, I believe, an attempt at stopping me from completing the 100 days, but luckily for me, I did survive all of this. In the next coming days, I was about ready to finish my Iron Man set. Ooh, the next day you can congratulate yourself, guys, because we finally got our first Iron Man set. I was finished with the boots. As I put the boots on, I got transformed into Iron Man, and I had all the abilities of the Iron Man. I could finally fly and roam the sky like a free bird. Of course, I did test out the bad boy roaming the sky, and I did also get a golden apple in the same chest. Flying about, I did notice a huge spaceship. This spaceship was actually going to become at least my new base. If you guys don't know, this is from the very first Marvel movie, and this is like our main Marvel base, and that means I was finally accepted into being the Iron Man that I was. If I didn't have an Iron Man suit, I would have never found this base. And there was also my first boss, the Big Urghast. This big boss was on this base, and it was actually trying to destroy it or something, so I did decide to defend it from this enemy. The Iron Man suit was working like a charm. All I had to do was just fly around him and beat him. It was pretty difficult at first because I didn't know the capabilities of my suit, but I did manage to defeat the Ghast. He was also a pretty good opponent because he could also fly, and that proved to be quite difficult. He shoots, he flies, he's basically like me, but nope, not certainly stronger than me, because after all, the Iron Man suit, I did spend a lot of time getting it, and finally when I had it, it was such an amazing experience. But this, guys, is not the end. I was yet to upgrade the baby. The literal pea shooter of a gun that I have on my wrist is nothing compared to the power that I was gonna wield in the time to come. As I defeated the Ghast, I was left with a chest with his loot and also the Iron Man core. The Iron Man core will be used to upgrade the suit for even more powerful capabilities, stronger armor defenses, and also greater speed at flying. From this point on, the 100 days would become a literal speed run in getting the most powerful loot humanly possible and upgrading myself to unspeakable levels of power. Finally, we were about to begin our adventure. Tony Stark is on the map. Flying back to my base was an absolute surreal experience. Finally, the high fence, the no kind of gate, the base was built for the Iron Man suit, and I did look at it from a distance. It looked super amazing. I could finally expect it in all of its glory, and yes, it was as powerful as I was hoping for. But finally, it was about time for me to hit the bed and sleep and wait till the next day. Also, guys, a few days passed, and I did get a laboratory going. This is the Tony Stark's laboratory. Please ignore the suit. It has a will of its own. It's really smart. It also protects me if I'm not wearing it, but I can also put it on and now it's fully compatible with my body. So yes, it does have a soul of its own and it does protect me. But either way, the laboratory was built and I was ready to upgrade the suit to even better power, because this is not enough even though it is really, really strong. I started flying over to the last place I saw the ship at, and turns out it was actually a lot higher than I was expecting, and it did spawn in right in front of me, so this thing was moving. It was dynamic. After defeating the Ghast, it was my first time actually checking out this base during the daytime, and upon walking inside, I did find that there was not a single soul inside apart from loot. There was a chest and there was even a little goodie bag for me. The little Iron Man upgrade suit chest piece was waiting for me inside, and that I can actually use to upgrade my loot, even though when I switch it out with my normal suit right now, it does not work, and that's because you need the full Iron Man suit of that same level for it to work and function. It was already hitting nighttime while I was still inspecting the ship and all the surrounding area, and then I did notice that there was a helicopter that spawned in. The helicopter is actually super militaristic. It's really nice. It has some cool guns, some cool equipment, but although it does lack fuel, and fuel is what I was about to get from the literal warship, because the warship runs on something, right? So obviously it will have fuel. I also spent quite a lot of time trying to look at all of the guides on how to fly this thing. Turns out it's actually pretty easy to fly, and it does have a lot of weapons, radars, turrets, rockets, and all of that good stuff. It's a literal Apache helicopter. It's the best military helicopter in the world. So yes, Iron Man, I was gonna keep it and park it up at my base. And with the Iron Man suit, luck was finally hitting me in the head as I did find fuel in the ship. Obviously, the ship would have a lot of loot. It did have my Iron Man upgrade. It does have a helicopter and also the helicopter fuel. So I was about to get ready to get the baby over to my base. I did also find a chest room, and the chest didn't have any loot. I don't know why. They should have spawned in with loot, but still, it was such a cool experience overall, just searching all of this base free and free. I still could not believe what my eyes were seeing. I waited till daytime and then decided to get into the helicopter and load the baby up with fuel. Luckily for me, the helicopter was working pretty darn good, and it was actually pretty easy to fly. As I was taking off with the helicopter, I did notice that the amount of thrust that thing created was absolutely insane. This thing was absolutely huge, and I knew that I had to get a literal landing strip going back at my base if I was gonna park this baby up successfully somewhere. Plus, I'm super lucky that I did not find like a jet or something, because flying a jet in Minecraft, you need like a literal airstrip for it. But luckily for a helicopter, you just need a landing helicopter pad, and you just put the baby down and that's it, it's parked up. So flying a helicopter is a lot easier in Minecraft, and I was just navigating back to my base, trying to get back safe and sound. And yes, the Iron Man suit is also really cool. If I was just a little bit, tad bit more extreme, I would have tested the Iron Man suit with the gunner's position on this helicopter, so the gunning kind of turrets could shoot me and I could test out if this armor is like super strong or if the helicopter could in fact defeat me. But I'm pretty certain that Iron Man armor is a lot stronger than this helicopter. The next day, I reparked the baby up for it to be kind of a lot more cleaner and not broken. I did also try to fix it up a little bit, but I didn't find any broken components in it. Either way, the helicopter was ready. Flying about during the nighttime as usual for me. If you didn't notice, I did encounter a world boss again, and this time it was a Hydra. The Hydra is a venomous snake. It's a very big and dangerous world boss. I did encounter her and I did defeat her because I am, of course, Iron Man, and she did also help me by dropping quite a lot of good stuff for me to upgrade my Iron Man suit. And I did also hit her with a diamond sword, and that is again because I do keep calling the gun that the Iron Man has a pea shooter. The pea shooter is really bad. It does like good damage, but it's difficult to fire and it's just like whack. There is some cool weapons that the Iron Man has access to, and this pea shooter, which is like the default level 1 weapon, is not it. No, it does not cut it. Either way, the Hydra was spitting flames all over. Luckily, it did not catch fire on the forest significantly and nothing burned down. But yes, this world boss was actually really rare and really awesome. It was way stronger than the Ghast that I fought before. The Ghast actually was really cool, really big, really strong, but not as strong as the Hydra. The Hydra had almost felt like 4 or 3 lives. In case you didn't notice, it has 3 heads, and that is what it felt like fighting. It felt like fighting 4 world bosses at one time. All of them were spitting flames, fireballs at me, and I just had to plainly defend myself with the best capabilities that I could. The Iron Man suit also played a big role in me surviving the 100 days. If not for the Iron Man suit, there is absolutely no way I would defeat these world bosses. When I got the boss down to very low health, I went in for a melee and then decided to shoot him again. The boss exploded in very big kind of explosions. Luckily for me, I did not take any damage from it, and they were still trying to spit flames at me. And yes, when I killed them, they dropped a lot of loot and of course the chest, as all the world bosses do. And just like that, Iron Man saved the day yet again. In the chest, I did find the legs for my new Iron Man suit. I was gonna actually use them in the laboratory to connect and kind of filter out the good stuff from the bad stuff in my laboratory. The laboratory equipment does allow me to upgrade my Iron Man equipment quite nicely, and for whatever reason, there were also a lot of witches that spawned in. Now, getting back to the base, I could finally get back into my little laboratory and get my stuff ready. I got a lot of loot, a lot of materials, and I was already making really good progress on my second iron armor set. This set would be the absolute definitive power of Iron Man. It would have a lot of cool stuff, like a lot of cool abilities, new speed, new armor, everything, but that's not even the nano suit is literally even better than this, which is like a 3rd tier. To make my base a little bit prettier, I did also plant a few trees and flowers all around my garden, and I did also get a little farm going. I know it's just for fun to keep my mind off the kind of boss world ending stuff going on in my life, but the 100 days are going along smoothly so far, and I feel absolutely amazed with the progress I made so far. I was so relaxed that I did decide to go fishing for a little bit, and that is primarily because I again needed food. And yes, my Iron Man suit was there with me, guarding me along all the way. You guys know me, I did say that I am not a vegetarian, well at least a fishitarian at least, it's not mainly in my diet, but yes, I do now have the Iron Man suit that I can use to go ahead, find all the cows, all the pigs in the world, and take care of them without a worry in my mind that there are zombies, bad mobs all around during the nighttime. But no, I did decide to fish. That is because I am humble. I humbled myself with fishing. It was annoying at first, as you guys know, but then it became into a real thing now, and now I just, if I'm hungry, I get 2 fish, I cook it up, and then I go to bed like a peaceful man. And it's just a simple life that's good. And I did also waste coal again here. Don't do that, guys. Yet again, another mistake from my end, but I do want to save some time on cooking the fish because I think I have enough coal and enough extra materials to progress in this world nicely as is. So it was about time for me to hit the bed, and luckily for me, the adventure was going to continue on and I was going to battle even more harder enemies. The enemies were about to get a lot more stronger and I was about to upgrade my loot a couple of more times. The Iron Man suit that I have right now is tier 1, don't forget that, and I'm about to get tier 2. Flying about, as you could have guessed, I did find a hammer, and this was a military vehicle. I did not need this vehicle at any moment of time during this video, but I did decide to take it just because I did find it. Plus, it also works. All you need to do is just add fuel, which I do always have on me, and still, I wasn't sure why I would need it because I do have the Iron Man suit that I used to traverse the world easily, literally flying the world through, but a hammer is still really cool and I did decide to get it home and park it up, although it would be pretty much difficult, but it's a really good upgrade for the base. I even drifted a little bit. Parking up my baby, my hammer was now at my base. It did take a few minutes to get here because of the really hard controls, but we did get here, and now I finally have another vehicle at my base, which is super amazing, although there is one catch. You do need roads for this baby to function as normal, and my base, there are no roads around it. In fact, there is water only, so I think I'm gonna need to get a garage going and also build myself a little highway going into the desert so I could traverse the land more easily without breaking a sweat. Flying about some more during the nighttime, I did encounter another boss, and this was some type of mutant, but it was a cow slash mushroom mutant, which was really weird, and I did decide to battle it because it did attack me first, and it was really strong. It punched me all the way through the map. I was hitting it really bad, but I could not kill the guy. It's like he was not taking any damage, so this was some sort of mutated supernatural horse mushroom guy. But in the end, of course, the Iron Man wins because I have such a strong suit, although it was going to be challenging if I did not have the Iron Man suit. After the battle, I did get hungry, and there is one way Iron Man can eat food, and that is by fishing. So I did fish for a few minutes before calling it a day, and then I started to cook the fish and ate it to regenerate my health. This was a quick way to get my health back up before traveling on and looking for more bosses and more cool loot that I could find all over the world. Mojang, I do want to say that I caught one fish in the last 3 minutes. What is this? Give me more fish. Why is my fishing so broken? In the mines, I spent a lot of time mining for regular resources. I also got some coal, stone, iron, and gold. I would use it to craft myself a little bit better loot and a little bit better armor. I also got some modded materials like silver, which I'm not sure what I will use for, but it is still useful to have a lot of materials, although I do not have a dedicated chest to storing these loot. I will get a chest that will have 64 stacks of every possible material because that is the end goal. For my upgrades, I do need a lot of materials. Back at my base, I decided to get another chest going, seeing as my first chest was getting filled up pretty bad. So I did decide to get one more and also put all of the things that I found to smelt, and I also did craft another furnace that I could use at the same time with my 2 other furnaces. So yes, my base was becoming a very big factory-like thing where I'm just smelting, storing, and everything is going nicely. At 100 days, I believe, well, I lied like to at least have a very big chest room with a lot of materials that I could use at all times. I would also like to have special storage for my Iron Man suits where I could always have them on display, but for that I need to find or craft at least the armor stands. My new suit is super cool and it has enhanced abilities, and I'm just really proud of how everything turned out. Also, the bow and arrow combo, I should get more arrows so I could use the bow again. Coming closer to the evening, I did get my 2 turrets crafted and filled up with redstone and also redstone converters. Now they are practically ready to defend my base. If you also did not notice, my little fencing does not have an entrance, and that is because I do not need a gate, seeing as I'm Iron Man and I can literally fly over the gate. This also means that I could possibly make my base on a remote island completely isolated from the world, but I did not decide to do that, and everything so far seems great otherwise. Plus, also having land beside me, I can park my vehicles up without a problem, and they will just be standing there, and I don't have to build the land myself by hand. Although I do need to get a garage going. Back home to my island, I did notice that there was a big horde of zombies all around, and they were literally getting sprayed down by my turrets. I'm not sure how many zombies there were before, if not for the turret's help. So this amount of zombies that survived the turret spread fire is actually very scary. What if I had no turrets installed the previous day? Then that would mean that the zombies would totally overrun this place. Luckily for me, I did come back in good time, and I did decide to take care of the zombies myself, also with the help of turrets. Not gonna lie, I absolutely love my new Iron Man weapon. The glove, kind of rocket propelling thing, is super amazing, and it takes out zombies practically in one hit, which is like so cool. Also, I did inspect the damage done to my vehicles, and luckily for me, there was no damage. I also did decide that I was gonna place some more torches all around my island so the zombies wouldn't spawn in as frequently. Plus, it's not even a blood moon, but there were so many zombies. I'm not sure where they came from or why even. Putting everything into place, I noticed that another chest was getting already filled up pretty good, so I did decide to get a storage room finally, and the time has come for me to get a very big storage room. Either way, it was time to hit the sack and see what's waiting for me the next day. Coming closer to an island on my daily inspection, it was already nighttime while I did encounter a Naga boss. This was a world-renowned boss, and it is absolutely difficult. It's the most difficult bosses, I mean one of the most in the game, and it was such a hassle trying to get the health down on this bad boy, but I did manage to kill it in the end, although I did get pretty close to dying, and the Naga had pretty much zero chance against a beast like the Iron Man. This suit that I had was absolutely amazing, and the damage that I did was also amazing. If not for the suit and me flying about, the Naga would have completely obliterated me. Just look at the size of that thing, but it did not, and that is because I do have the Iron Man suit, which allows me to fly in the air where the Naga could not do any damage. After defeating the Naga, it took me a little bit of time to find all of the loot she dropped, but the Naga dropped literal new legs for the Iron Man suit. These are a Mark 47, they are super upgraded and really strong. This is a really good upgrade, and it's a good establishment for my new Iron Man set. Going back to my base, finally, I was absolutely exhausted from fighting the Naga boss and also checking out the surrounding area, but I did get myself back to the base and did decide to get a new set going. The new pants that dropped were a really good thing, and now I could perhaps get a new Iron Man set. I decided to check out the new set, and it flies absolutely cool and amazingly. The turret is some sort of different projectile that's being fired from my wrist, but overall I feel a lot more mechanical, and there's like a super new upgraded metal all around my suit, so I feel pretty good. As usual, spending my time in the mines, I was looking for more resources to mine until I did encounter a mutated zombie. This guy was absolutely huge and strong as well, and it also took me a few hits to get him down. He was coming back up every single time, but I did kind of wait and did defeat him in the end, but it was such a long battle that I got pretty much exhausted again. He also was maybe spawning in like little zombies because he had a little army around him. Either way, it was a really difficult battle, and some of my shots even missed him for some reason, and it's not even as strong as Gaunt's. Iron Man is strong with his abilities where he can fly around and shoot you from any direction, but if Iron Man is stuck in a literal cave where he can't really fly around, he is pretty much not that strong. He's not a real superhero like you could say Thor or Hulk, who have unlimited superpower to literally break walls and kill people with like one hit. No, Iron Man is an intelligent, smart guy. My technology like the iron suit and flying about and little rockets is what makes Iron Man strong. But unfortunately, in the cave you cannot fly around, which made the battle so much more difficult. I did decide to get his little buddies first before going at him, but he only took damage from some of my shots, not all of them, which made the battle even more difficult. It's like my shots were missing him or not doing enough damage. I honestly thought that Iron Man was really strong, but seeing as the damage I do now with this upgraded even suit is not that significant, I can see why I have a long way to go in upgrading my loot, because the Iron Man suit that I have, it's not the best one yet. There are better Iron Man suits that I will get in the future, but still, this one is super cool to have either way, although it is not that useful in tunnels. Hitting him one last time, he got down the final time, and he did not get back up. So this means that he was finally defeated, and to my not such a surprising fate, he did not drop any good loot, which is really unfortunate. I was hoping that the modified loot table would drop me some more Iron Man pieces, but it did not. I did see a horse in the wild, which I did decide to actually get for myself. I got some apples, I fed it apples, then I got a saddle, placed a saddle on it, became friends with it, and got it back to my base. To my surprise, the horse is really fast. I know Iron Man's suit is like super cool, you fly really quickly, but if a normal player has a horse, why cannot Iron Man have a horse as well? The galloping horse was actually a beast at traversing the land, not as good as an iron suit of course, but maybe a little bit better than a hammer, truck, or a car that I had previously. Still, it's a really good horse that I will keep as a pet and have fun with it while it's on my base. I will also need to get a barn for it, because every horse needs a barn. Galloping on my horse, I practically ran past a mutated creeper. I decided to get rid of the guy because he was causing havoc all over the world and he was just a creepy feller. So I did fly up, and with my iron suit I did decide to shoot him. He also was surrounded with a huge zombie horde. If I did not have my Iron Man suit, the mutated creeper would have probably obliterated me. He would blow me to pieces, eat me up, chomp me up, and also the big zombie horde around him would absolutely destroy me as well. But luckily for me, I had my Iron Man suit on and I did not leave it back at the base, and that's because I always travel with it while out and about in the world looking for trouble, and this is exactly the scenario that I wanted, although I did not expect one to find so close to my base. It was already nighttime, and I guess he did just spawn in because I do have the mod installed, but this guy was absolutely insane. He spawned a lot of zombies, he was super difficult, he was even, I would dare say, as difficult as the mutated zombie, so the big zombie we found in the cave previously. So yes, definitely this guy was really difficult to kill. When I got rid of the mutated creeper, I did decide to get rid of the zombie horde before trying to open the chest. The chest, to my surprise, did have actually very good loot. It did have a literal core 2 Iron Man suit, so this was another super cool drop, and I was really surprised it spawned in a randomly generated chest, and also a literal mutated creeper spawned in right beside it. So if I was not wearing my Iron Man suit and out looking for trouble, maybe even on my horse, I probably wouldn't have even noticed it, found it, or cared enough to defeat the creeper, defeat the zombies, to actually go look inside of the chest. After the battle finished, I did loot the chest, and yes, the core was really awesome. To my surprise, it did have a new Iron Man suit for me to try out. I was not sure yet if it would have been an upgrade for me, but I still was very excited to get back to my base and try it out. After finally getting back home on my horse, it was already daytime, and I do want to say one thing, that the horse that I found initially was unfortunately lost to the zombie horde that was surrounding the mutated creeper and the chest. So I did find this other horse nearby that I did decide to take home. So now I still have a horse, but this is not the same horse that I was initially gonna come back with, which was really unfortunate. So finally, I could test out my new nano suit, which was a super huge upgrade turns out, and it was super amazing. I was really happy with how everything turned out, and it did have literally upgraded everything. It was quicker, it was faster, it was better looking, it was well more protected. It did have a lot more cool stuff, and I also got way more new cooler abilities. One of them was the repulsor beams that you guys see on your screen right now. It was super amazing, and it did do a lot of damage, and I did defeat quite a few bosses with it in the coming days. It was absolutely amazing and such a huge upgrade. I did not expect to find that in a random chest. I was looking for a piece of new armor constantly throughout the world, and then there was just this suit waiting for me in a random chest. Also, some time later, I did find a wolf out in the wild, well actually a wolf pack, and I did also get rid of some chickens for their meat. I tried to use the meat to get the wolf to be my pet, but unfortunately, it did not like the meat. Well, it liked it, but it did not become my pet, and it also didn't want to even eat more of the meat. So I was really confused as to what was going on, but turns out I can't get a pet with just chicken meat. I got rid of a few more chickens to get a few more meat, and I tried to get the dog to be my pet. To my surprise, I did finally get it, but it was already nighttime, and I did decide to make my way back to the base. To my surprise, the dog was really friendly. And also, I won't be as lonely anymore. Hopefully, I'm gonna get some more bones very soon and get the dog to enjoy a snack on some really good, tasty bones from skeletons. But for now, he's gonna have to be on a chicken diet. Don't hate me, guys, in the comments. I'm gonna feed him some bones when I get some. As I got back to the base, was finally time to hit the sack, and as usual I made pretty good progress, and I was really happy with how everything was going so far. Traveling the land as usual, I was going through a very pretty looking biome, and to my surprise there was another random chest that spawned in the wild, and inside of it I found a literal bazooka. So this was a really cool find. There were also some cookies, which was a weird time for cookies to spawn with a bazooka in a random chest, but Iron Man can never say no to very high-tech weapons. I grabbed it and decided to actually get some explosive ammunition. As nighttime hit, as usual, I was going back to my base, and yet again, same way as I met the creeper, I met the mutated ghast. This ghast was absolutely huge, and how he spawned in the overworld and not in the nether is a mystery to me. Either way, it's a boss that I have to defeat as Iron Man and stand proud. I shot him with my repulsor beams and also used my new weapons on him, and it was absolutely insane. The damage I was doing now was crazy, I could literally blast him away. Of course, he could also fly, which proved a little bit more difficult than other bosses, you could say. This boss actually could at least move around and do all his basic moves and attack me while I was mid-air. This was a first, and the Iron Man was not so strong when compared to a monster Ghast, especially seeing as the Ghast again can fly, which proved to be quite difficult. I also could not hit him because he was so big and he maybe absorbed my damage. Well, at least he didn't take all of it, which was very not good. I got really clean shots at him, everything was exploding, he was being hit back, but he just did not take any damage. So I thought that this meant that I had to use some other type of weapon to defeat this guy. But then I did notice his health go down a little bit, and that also explained to me that no, he does take damage, he's just this strong. If I did not have my Iron Man suit on, I have no clue how I would defeat this guy. But luckily for me, he is here, and I do have my Iron Man suit. So it did prove to be quite difficult and long, but I did finally manage to defeat him in the end. Lastly, upon hitting him with my ultimate ability right into the face, he dropped to the ground. Fortunately for me, he did drop a chest which had some good loot. It had some ender pearls, an axe, and also his ghastly kind of piece of him, I guess. I have no clue what I need it for, but I did decide to try out the ender pearls. As Iron Man, you know, I'm pretty sure I can maybe travel quickly, but not as quick as ender pearls. So the ender pearls are the ultimate traveling ability. Seeing as I'm Tony Stark, it was my job now to get the ender pearls into my nano suit for me to travel even faster. Now that's gonna be a big upgrade. Finally getting back to my base, it was the final night before day 100. I was super excited to check back on my progress and everything I've achieved so far. And yes guys, this was it for day 100, we finally made it, we did survive. To no surprise of course, the Iron Man cannot die in the 100 days. Come on, Iron Man's suit is like a superhero, he's not gonna die to some zombie or creeper attack, no way. And we did defeat also some huge bosses like the very latest boss, the Ghast. It was the ultimate boss, I had to hit him in the face a couple of times for him to go down. But yes, this was it, day 100. We did manage to survive and it was absolutely amazing. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's been me as always, Frosty Max, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And as always guys, peace.